All right, let's do this. So, I've spent the last 2 days roughly assiduously avoiding these cards because I wanted to be able to do a reveal. So, that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to look at these cards and hopefully they're going to be really exciting. So, I think this is going to be our last Masters of Evil card reveal. Maybe we'll get one more after this. Okay. Let's go. So first things first, turn off the slideshow. So we have a Crimson Cowl. This guy is... Ooh, I don't like where my banner is there. That sucks. Had a little bit of an issue with my my layout earlier. Whatever. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Crimson Cowl and set technical stuff aside. So here we go. We got AK Ultron on this guy. That probably makes sense. I don't know what comic book storyline it is where the Crimson Cowl was also Ultron, but I'm sure like they never really get the flavor wrong at Super Awesome Games, so I trust them on that one. 4-2-6 flight and range. That's pretty cool for level 1. I'm all right with that. Like, I mean, it's not like amazing stats. 2 defense is not good, but range and flight, 6 health. There's something to work with there. Gas pellet pistol. Main phase, choose an enemy supporting character. Crimson Cowl could attack, then choose one. Sleeping gas dazes the character. Lethal gas wounds the character until it has one remaining. Oh, supporting character. Okay. Whoa. For a second, I thought that could hit main characters. I was like, what? So he can daze or wound a supporting character until it has one remaining health. His level up condition is when you play an Avengers Mansion, he gains an XP. So you have to hit 2 specific locations out of 4. I don't think we have the ability to search for an Avengers Mansion. I mean, Global Information Network will do it, Agent, these kinds of searches. But in terms of like Wakanda or Kane, they'll let you really search for a specific location. We don't have that for special locations yet. So we don't have that for this guy's level up condition, which means it's going to be wonky. There's going to be games where you don't draw your 2 Avengers Mansions the whole game. And this guy just never levels. And there's going to be games where he levels on 2, which is really weird balancing. Whoa. What? Okay, so he oh my goodness. All right, so apparently Crimson Cowl levels up into Ultron. There's who could this mysterious villain be? There's only one way to find out, other than by looking at his AKA text. That's funny. So what's Ultron do? Okay, so Ultron is... I really like this art, for one. I think they did a great job. It's cool to see some more Ultron support. I feel like it's been a long time coming. I kind of all the same things I said about the supporting character last week. Infiltrate the mansion. Ultron can use Avengers Mansions to pay for superpowers. I like that. I think that's really freaking cool, especially with who Ultron is, where he comes from, the ability that for him to be able to do this. That's awesome. And from a game mechanic standpoint, in terms of like available design space, I think it's really cool that they would introduce some kind of special mechanic that would allow a guy to use a team location from another team, which I think we've had a few of those before. I know Monarch kind of does something similar, and is it Mainframe? I feel like we've seen similar stuff, but I don't remember this exact kind of thing where it's like this character gets to use an off-team location all the time. It's just his thing. That's pretty cool. I like that. Whoa, 10-4. Holy moly. I didn't see his stats. So you could have a 10 attack with range on 2 if you have Avengers Mansion, Avengers Mansion. That's really good. Eye emitters. Choose a blue... or pay a blue, choose an enemy supporting character that Ultron could attack, and then Hypno Beam or Ultron Blast. What was it called on the first guy? Was it the same thing? No. Gas pellet pistol. Daze a character or wound it until it has 1 health left. This is... Oh, so they're not the... Wait. Sleeping gas, lethal gas. Yeah, they're not the same at all. I'm just crazy. So Hypno Beams. ready that character and move it to your side at the end of turn, move it back. That's cool. Or wound that character. So the fact that you have to do this on a character that Ultron could attack seems like it might be limiting, but it's not that limiting because he has flight and he has range. So wherever you put this guy, he's going to have decent attacks to be able to declare. Your opponent, of course, if they have flying characters, can protect their back row. There's things they can do to blunt his efficiency, but that's strong. I don't think that drawback is that big of a deal. I think often you're going to pay a balloon and wound a guy, and then you go to attack and wound it again. And that says wound that character. So this one's limited to supporting characters too. So that's a little bit of a disappointment. I would have liked to see him have the ability to target main characters once he hits level 2, but I guess if the power you're going to give the guy is that he gets to just straight up wound something, you can't have it targeting main characters. So that's reasonable. This is too high variance for me. This is not the kind of deck I would want to play, unless we're going to get some more cards in here that let us search for special locations or some more cards like in an upcoming arc. As soon as that effect is in the game, when I have the ability to go into my deck and say, here's my Avengers Mansion, I can get it, I can level my guy, that's fine. One of the reasons I like Kitty Pryde Star-Lord is because her level up condition, while very similar to this, it uses space locations. So we have Kane to be able to go get those, and that kind of greases those skids. And even that character can sometimes get stuck behind not being able to level. I would argue some of the most powerful Star-Lord decks are the ones that look to like just use her level 1 power and they don't care about leveling because her level up is so inconsistent. This guy is going to have a very inconsistent level up. If you get it to work, it's cool. I think this Ultron's cool, but this is not, you don't want to go to a competitive event and bet your whole day on being able to draw 2 out of 4 in 60 and do it within a few enough turns that you can hang. That's a little bit of a bummer. This is probably going to be fun for kitchen table. It seems cool. I like what this card does, but unless there's a way that you can guarantee you draw those Avengers Mansions, you're going to have those games where this dude just doesn't level, and that sucks. So Hypno Beam, I'm going to read the notes here, see if there's anything I missed. So when you move the character back, you get to pick the row that it goes into. That's cool, I guess. Probably it stays until end of turn, right? Or is it just you make an attack? No, it's end of turn. So when you send it back, that's probably not going to matter because your opponent's going to have a formation step, but something to think about. Next we have Claw, 7 costs. So this is going to be hopefully a really powerful character because I think this team needs some bombs. He looks cool. I like this art. Again, a lot of the art on these has been pretty awesome. Really on point. Claw can't be wounded. Whoa. 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 Indestructible? Whoa. So he can still be stunned. He just can't be wounded. He can be KO'd. He can be removed from game. There's other things that can affect him, but indestructible. Yikes. He's a 10-6 with range, which is cool because he doesn't need to have a big defense given how that first keyword works. He can't be wounded, so I don't really care about his defense. Throw him up front to make my opponent have to deal with him. Hang out and back and just shoot guys. That's fine too. Sound generation. Pay a blue, push a front row enemy character to its back row, and it loses and can't gain powers this turn. That seems pretty good. End of game, there's like a big flyer, like somebody ramped to Galactus. On turn 7, you play your Claw and you sound blast him to the back row, and then you can send whatever flying over, hit something. I think this guy might actually be good. And now, I mean, is he gonna, like, are you going to play this instead of Jungle Hunter? Or do you want to have turn 9 on turn 8? Is this guy better than that? Well, no. Okay. But indestructible is a cool word. That seems potentially problematic in terms of like long-term game health, like having characters that are really, really difficult to kill. But he's a 7-drop, so it's the end of the game, so it's probably fine. His stats are nice and aggressive, and he's got a power that really makes him fit really well in terms of a like end game. Like if you're pushing aggro for the whole game and then you get to this guy at the top end, this could get rid of a Jessica Jones to let you trigger an important power if you're in that kind of deck, or he's going to fit into an aggro deck. I think this guy has some use cases. I think this is a playable card. So Claw can't be wounded, he can't be stunned, yeah. And the moment we've all been waiting for, So there's 3 more cards here. They're all Wrecking Crew. And it looks like they all require you to have a Masters of Evil starting character. So I guess let's just dig right in. Bulldozer. This is a Masters of Evil affiliated 3/3/2 for 3. One of a kind, and you have to have a Masters of Evil starting main character, which I wish all the loyalty stuff was this way. It's so much cooler than the other, like the legacy loyalty cards. Wrecking Helmet. Bulldozer can melee attack an enemy resource row. Okay, I'm listening. When he strikes a resource row, KO a number of random locations there equal to his attack. Then replace them with cards from the top of that player's deck face down. Now, interestingly, most of the time when we get an effect that lets us put cards face down into the resource row, it's coupled with the text that says if it's a location, you can turn it face up. This doesn't have this. So you can nuke somebody's available resources, then replace them into potentially more resources, which they then don't get to use. So you can like double hit. That seems good. He has +2/+2 for each other Wrecking Crew on your side. Now the bummer is these guys are one of a kind. So how often is he going to see that +2/+2? I don't know. Maybe one of these other dudes can search. This attack seems cool, especially this early on turn 3. Get a swing in. I mean, it's not KOing the resources and putting your opponent down, which is initially where I thought this was going, and that would be super strong. But on turn 3, that would be awful. Probably that would lead to just such unfun game states. Turn 3, this guy attacking your resources and like cycling your row, so he can kind of attack. Now he's not gonna like be a combat guy. You're gonna have to have other dudes that can help clear the board so that this guy can crack the row. Now, does he have to? How can he attack the row? Does it have to be an unprotected row? I'll read the rest of these guys and then I'll worry about that. Okay, so Piledriver. This guy's costume is terrible. I don't mind this card art as art, but Piledriver's costume has always been kind of bad. Okay, so this is another one of a kind, another starting main character required. Man, I wish these weren't one of a kinds. So, Wrecking Hands. Piledriver can attack enemy hands. When he strikes a hand, discard a number of random cards that are equal to his attack. So this is like a new kind of mind games. Well, sort of. It's like mind games adjacent. Wow. So when it says can, presumably you can declare an attack on a character like you could anything else. And this, I don't see how... With a resource row, it would make sense that the back row could protect it. The front row protects the back row protects the resource row. That I understand. Attacking the hand, are these guys just able to swing at their special targets? What's the next guy do? Wrecking rows, wrecking hands, wrecking ball? Dex! Yes! Okay, so Wrecking Ball can melee attack enemy decks. When he strikes the enemy deck, put any number of random cards from the top into the KO pile. +2/+2 for all the other guys. I don't know if this is going to be competitive. Let me say that up front. You could attack the deck and your opponent could already have their resources. You could attack the hand and they could draw into them. You can attack the row and they like all of this stuff doesn't affect the board state. So if you're dead on board, none of this shenanigans matters. But this shenanigans is cool, man. I like these cards so much. Are they going to be competitive? I'm going to have to play with this. This is super weird. So this is only a Masters of Evil main character can play with these guys. And you only get 3 for the deck. And they do have that cool cycling plot twist to be able to dig into your deck and set cards. So this team is going to probably have better than your average team's ability to find its tools. So they can each attack normally, but they can also attack a different part of the game. I love the way they phrase that. These are all melee attacks, so they have to be in the front row and ready, and they'll exhaust when they start combat. The Wrecking Crew character can attack the row hand deck, even if that player has face-up characters on their sides. In other words, a player can't protect a resource row hand or deck from the Wrecking Crew. This is awesome. These are awesome. While a member of the Wrecking Crew is attacking a hand, deck, or resource row, he counts as being an attacker. There is no defender. The opponent can still count as a defending player. Players can play plot twist, superpowers, or power up as normal. So defensive plot twists aren't really going to do anything here. I mean, shock to the system might. That would stop Bulldozer entirely, and it would certainly reduce the impact of the effect from the other two guys. But like, find cover does nothing. Like, there's no defense value to compare to, so that's not going to do anything. Canceling combats would work. If you're wondering about the leader of the Wrecking Crew, the Wrecker himself, you have to buy... Okay. So... Oh, next time will be our first look at the Spelltacular issue. So this must be the last one for this one. Okay. Man, what a mixed bag this Masters of Evil expansion is shaping up to be. There is some stuff where the stats and powers are just way too weak and probably aren't playable even in a kitchen table setting. Like Melter, there are places where he might be good, but you know, like I said when I initially looked at that card, most one-drops that have superpowers have not historically worked out. This level up for Crimson Cowl into Ultron, this is pure kitchen table. There's no way to make it more consistent other than, well, like global information and agent. So like those kind of general things, but there's no specific targeted way to make this more reliable. He seems cool enough. I'm probably going to play with this guy. I don't foresee this guy making many appearances at tournaments. This 7-drop is neat. I like him. I think he could be playable. Maybe it's going to depend on formats. You know, in formats where Jungle Hunter exists, do you play this guy? But if you're playing a super aggro deck and you don't care about getting to turn 9, and this is like your finisher, he's sort of like it's almost a similar effect to like what Moreland does. Moreland kind of does the same thing. And he's a 7-cost 8/8 with 2 wounds that can grow. So he does this thing without having to pay for it. So, okay, I'm talking myself out of Claw being that good. I still think this is a fun card. I still think I'm going to play this card. But there are other 7... Depending upon the format, there probably are going to be cards that push him out of playability. We just have to say it. This stuff is wacky. So I don't know what they're going to give us with Wrecker. Presumably he's a 6-drop and can do whatever of these powers of characters you have in your KO pile or in play. That's going to be my guess. This is really cool. It's probably too limited to make that much of a difference in any kind of serious play because 3 cost 3/3, 4 cost 4, and there's only one of each of them. I still think it's really, really cool, but I'm not sure it's going to be really, really competitive. So, till next time, guys, go win some games.